Pre-show, I was talking about Tunic. Are you guys playing any new games right now?
So I've been playing Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier. It came out in November, but it's kind of addicting, especially if you're using controller on your phone. It's
How,
basically just a battle royale.
it's a battle royale, but like, is it melee? Is it like
It's
Magica?
everything. It's everything. So you have everyone's has your melee because they have like different classes. So you have like warrior, monk, dragoon, mage, all that stuff. And then you get guns in the game. They have like ARs, pistols, large machine guns, special weapons for the raids, the summons. Because right now the main summon is Bahamut. So if you kill Bahamut, you you can summon Bahamut and all that shit. So it's kind of cool.
So Bahamut's
Um,
like an enemy like roaming the land, and you have to kill him to be able to summon him.
yes,
That's pretty cool. I like
you
that.
you drop down. You're in Midgar, and you drop down, and they got a lot of references for Final Fantasy VII. So like you see the bar where Avalanche kind of hides out.
So they
You
lifted
see
like
the
the whole like Midgar like area
yes,
from the Final Fantasy VII remake.
yes, and then like they have like the church where you meet Eris.
It's a
They
big
have a lot of
map.
stuff on
That's a
there.
big,
Kind
big
of
map.
cool. It's only a small part of Midgar, I believe.
Like you're
Um,
not going to like the factories or anything like that.
no, 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 not really. I could probably post the map sometime, but it's kind of cool. They're on season 2 right now. They added like an event called the Fury Bahamut from Crisis Core.
Hmm.
So he's actually really tough to beat by yourself. So a lot of streamers now have been doing raids. So people just queue up in solo and then just all attack the boss.
You almost have to like third team Bahamut.
You do. You actually have to with this Bahamut Fury because he's really OP to where you can't beat him by yourself. You could beat the basic Bahamut by yourself because I've done it a few times, but not this other one. This other one's too tough. Not to mention he heals himself all the time.
It's funny that you bring up a battle royale because I recently jumped back into Fortnite, and you mentioned this morning. They just got rid of builds.
So they only doing no builds for this week. So I think starting today. I think they're testing something.
Well, so I was reading up on it after you sent that text. There's movement. There is like super speed. There's a jump that you can do. So they're getting rid of the builds for that. But in the last week that I've played of Fortnite, like builds didn't feel like super important like they used to be. Like yeah, there were still people who built and there were still sweats, but
Hmm.
I didn't see a lot of games ending where it was who was the sweatier builder. It was like a lot about where the storm ended and a lot more of like the outside factors outside of the place. So like the tornado, like there's tornadoes, there's earthquakes, there's rifts.
Hmm.
So there's more dependence on that. And then if the person had the Spidey swingers, which they just got
Hmm.
rid of. What?
Yeah, because now they have like that Doctor Strange chapter coming out.
Yeah. Josh, what have you been playing?
Well, when I'm not sick, like I have been all week, I've been switching between Elden Ring and Apex, honestly, CSGO. I haven't done anything new besides Elden Ring.
How far into Elden Ring are you?
I am not very far. I have maybe like 2 hours into it.
I want to get into it. I just feel like that's such a big time suck.
It is, and it just sucks because, like I said, between everything that's been going on, been really busy, and then of course being sick this week, I hadn't played anything, so I'm a little behind.
So I played like I mentioned, I've been playing Fortnite, so that's been fun. Tunic, I got into Tunic, and I know a lot of comparisons have been to Zelda, but it reminds me a lot more of Fez from like 10 years ago. Just because
Oh,
there's a layer of
I had
mystery,
to.
and I think
Yeah, I had to think about that because I was kind of like, what the hell is Tunic? But then I remember IGN doing like some type of article on it, and it had good reviews.
and I think it was the same publisher. Like I think this company that published Tunic also published Fez. They also published Chicory from last year that I still need to beat. But it's been fun. It's tough. It's a lot tougher than I thought it'd be. And it's one of those games where you find a path and you're like, I don't know if I need to be here, but you can kind of do stuff out of order and there's mystery to it. It almost feels like a notebook game. I've never been one of those people that's like, okay, I need to have a notebook because whenever I've played a game like that, usually there's like the game facts already out that, oh, okay, this person's already taken these really good notes. I'm going to just steal these. But now that I'm like playing it with everyone and it's on Game Pass, of course, after I bought it, I think I'm gonna try and use a notebook to like learn some stuff, because like the pickups, they all look like old like game manuals, and they're really well done, and I really like that. Other thing I played was Frostpunk. Sat in my library for years. Finally completed the main campaign. Lots of fun. It gets the okay. It's okay. I like it. Which I'm gonna stop okaying, because I think that's been taken by some people who don't have the best ideas for the world. So I'm gonna stop okaying things. It was groovy. It was groovy, baby. We're gonna groovy it up.
Shut the hell up.
Groovy, Jacob. Groovy.
Out of here.
So
Thanks for
everyone,
watching the last episode, everyone. We appreciate it. Have a great day. And
That's
we'll
it.
see you
That was
later.
it.
we've
That's
been
the cast.
We've been canceled. This is Smashing Game Time, everybody. I'm Nick.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Jacob.
Okay, I didn't know if you're gonna do Jake or Jacob.
I had to think about it.
So today we're not speed capping. Jesus, where's my brain? Today we are reviewing 2007. We're going to take a look at the release window of 2007 along with the news. And then we've got, Josh, what's the quiz at the end that we've got today?
We are having an all-out battle between Jake and Nick on who knows Halo 3 better. And it's going to suck for them.
Okay. And the winner gets to pick the game that Josh is going to speed cap next week.
Yes, that is correct.
All
And
right.
only for 2007, right?
Yeah, only 2007.
That is
Gotcha.
correct. So before we get started, just a reminder, you can rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. We really would appreciate it if you did it over on Apple Podcasts, though. The more stars, the more people will see and hear it. The more, just tell your friends, leave the good reviews, leave the good stars, the kind words. You can do that
Or
on
the bad
Apple.
ones.
Or the bad. Yeah, you know what? I like reading bad reviews. They always make me chuckle.
Nick just likes reading in general. He doesn't get enough at home, guys. Come on, let him
See,
read. Help him
Well,
read.
you can't see the books behind me, but look at all the dust on them. I need something to read. Come on.
For every review you send in, you help a poor Nicholas become more educated and able to read.
You help
on a
me
daily
learn.
basis.
You help me learn new words. In the
In the arms of an angel.
God damn it.
I'm glad we were both thinking that.
Now we can't get any money from this because now it's copyright.
We only saying like 2 or 3 words. It's okay. They won't come for us. What do you guys say we get started, eh?
Let's do it.
All right. So off the top here, January 12th, Lost Planet Extreme Condition, a game we were actually just thinking about last week because Jake was doing a Capcom game or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This game was I want to say this was Destiny before Destiny was Destiny. Minus the loot shooting. Like, it had the party aspect. It had the, okay, we're kind of going on raids for these big monster guys. Right?
It's kind of like, I want to say it's kind of a different take from Monster Hunter if you think about it.
Well, I
Well,
get
it's definitely more of the solo for sure.
I get that. I just, like, when I look at it now and I look at like the movement, like the third person stuff was very of the time, but just because a lot of the focus was on the boss fights, right?
Oh, yeah, especially the bigger monsters. Like, I mean, the very first mission you do, it's you fight that huge, it's like a slug / crab looking thing.
Right. So I think it's a lot. So I say Destiny, but I don't think Destiny has like a focus on boss fights. It's more of the raids, right?
Yeah, where
Yeah.
this is like more, in my opinion, this is more like ad control / survival / bosses.
So I see, and I know Monster Hunter's just probably older than this actually, but I see a lot of like modern day Monster Hunter in this. At least
I would say, yeah, I
Yeah.
would say so.
minus the shooting. I never beat it all the way. I enjoyed watching people play it, but it was
Kind of
tough.
reminds me of Starship Troopers.
Yeah, with the
Yeah, I
bugs.
think that's where so I definitely agree. Obviously it's not completely Monster Hunter, it's like it's its own take on it. So but I enjoyed it. It was honestly really good. I never played the second one, and I don't care what he says, I enjoyed the third one when I played it. So
I never played third one.
Well, and this was a timed Xbox exclusive for a while there, I feel like.
yeah.
Capcom
Yeah.
was like going like full on like, okay, here you go, Xbox. And I think it was because Xbox was out a year before everybody else.
Yeah. So they had more time to actually work on the system and port it over to the Xbox compared to everyone else.
Right. I don't think it's aged well though, if we're being
No.
honest right
Oh,
now.
no.
no.
Up next on the list, we've got WarioWare Smooth Moves. Which was this a Wii game?
That one was DS, I believe.
I see moves and I'm like, oh, that has to be
That
like
might
motion control.
that
Yeah, it
might
could
be
be.
Wii. I honestly I thought about adding games titles PC. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking now because I'm losing my words. I thought about adding the consoles they were on, but when I tried to do it, it would not move properly.
I think
So
I
just
think
said, screw
WarioWare.
it.
I think that is the Wii one. I mean, it's WarioWare, guys. We've shown you
Yeah,
WarioWare videos
it's
before.
I want to say it's more of like
Yeah,
a
that's
party
Wii.
game. I
That
didn't
is
really
Wii.
care for WarioWare.
I don't like
I
Wario
wouldn't
as a
buy it.
character. I don't like how like most people who like Wario. It's just kind of an edgy thing. Like, oh, my favorite Mario character is Wario. Like, get the fuck out of here, you edgelord.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
the same thing with Waluigi too. Like people are like, put
yeah.
Waluigi in Smash, and it's like, why?
Get out of here, you
I don't.
incels.
Yeah, I don't get it.
You
I mean, don't
simps.
get. I understand that they want all the characters in there, but like, why like fight so hard to get Waluigi as a Smash character? It makes no sense.
Waluigi's just gonna play like Luigi. He's long and
It-
lengthy. There's
right,
no,
and then you just sing, yeah,
there's no.
yeah.
Moving
you'll
on.
get that.
January 16th, World of Warcraft, Burning Crusade. Was this the big? Was
So
this the first big expansion?
the first big expansion. It was a big deal when it came out. It started the dungeons. I think dungeon queuing was a thing by then. I don't remember if it was this one or the next one after. But it was a big deal. Even the new one when they did the classic remake, Burning Crusade came out, and that was even more of a big deal.
So wait, did they
So this-
re-release Burning Crusade for vanilla recently?
Yes.
That bugs the piss out of me because people were pissing and moaning about getting vanilla, and now they're slowly starting to add stuff back to
It's
vanilla.
basically it's just a revamp of the whole game if you think about it.
Fucking hate it. They're double dipping. They're fucking double dipping, and I hate every minute of it.
So when they did the revamp for the classic, I was part of it because everyone at work was talking about it. So I was like, I'll try it out. And actually, I was pretty frustrated with it because to get stuff done, you kind of almost had to wait in line.
So what was it about World of Warcraft recently that people were like, I want to go back to vanilla? What like aspect of the gameplay was too much that like people were like, we need to go back to simpler times? Remember 2004?
I just think there was so much to do, and it's like if you have like 5 characters and you've basically done everything you possibly can with different builds, and it's like, what else can you do? And it's like, well, I remember this old like there's stuff they've removed. It was a simpler time. There's stuff that was removed that's no longer part of it. They changed content. I mean, think about when we played World of Warcraft. What was it, 10, 15 years ago when we all like sat down and started playing it?
It's crazy.
I got
And, like-
you. 2 words: microtransactions.
That too.
Yeah, but aren't those like a part of MMOs to begin with?
So a lot of people they don't like to do the grind, so all they do is just pay for like bonds. No, I don't think it's bonds, but you could do something in WoW to where like you can skip the grind and just start off at a level.
Yeah, the kids with mommy and daddy's credit card. Mom, I don't want to grind these 20 levels. Give me your card.
I
Give me
need
your
a time card. I'm almost out.
Give me your
Mom.
MasterCard, Mom.
Oh, let's not forget too. This is the time where you could sell accounts on eBay or sell your services on eBay.
Illegal.
Hey, are you tired? Are you tired of leveling up by yourself? Pay me $30 an hour to do
I'll
it for you.
For you, you lazy piece of shit. What a salesman.
Hey, I mean, you got like 20% of people who are like, yeah, I'll do it. $30 an hour. I
people-
only need you to buy 3 hours.
People have too much money. Though people
much
who pay for
time.
that have too much money and time.
Yeah.
Up next, continuing January. Josh, I see what you did here to get us into the SEO game. Appreciate you, mad love. NCAA March Madness 07. Now we can say that it's in the episode. SEO will recognize us. Thank you, Lord SEO. Now, the last one that they made, the last basketball game that they made, I think it was like
2011?
NCAA 2K11. Like that game still slaps. They don't sell it anymore. You have to find a hard copy, but that game still slaps. It's still
Because
really
the
good.
NCAA they want to just like keep all their money, and I guess EA didn't want to work with them.
No, so the issue with the NCAA, so there's my brain is shut. I stopped working in college athletics about 6 months ago, so my brain is shutting off. But there's amateurism, and so they're unable to pay players for their likeness. But now with new rules, there's like likeness rules and to where players can be paid for like advertising or having
Yeah,
like advertising partner
endorsements.
endorsements. Yep. And so the issue now is if they want to make a game, excuse me, they have to go through and get permission from every school.
Yeah, that
You
sucks.
see how that could be a pain in the ass. So that's what they're doing with the new football one. They're going through. So when that football game eventually comes out, there's going to be schools that are missing. It's basically just like how games disappear from Steam because they lost the music rights to their parts of their soundtrack. So instead of like just cutting it out, they take the game off. So like Forza Horizon, I think their car deals wear off. So they cut out the game because they're like, oh, well, we don't have fucking Ferrari anymore. Forza Horizon 2, goodbye.
Yeah.
But thanks for getting us on the SEO, Josh. Real good move there.
You're welcome.
Fuck the NCAA. Moving on. February 6th, Final Fantasy, what is this? VI is 6. That is
6.
advanced.
It's the last one for the GBA.
Yeah, which happens to be the best one.
Is that the one with
apparently?
Kafka at the end?
No, that's 5. Kafka is at the end of 5. So, or
Yeah.
5. 6 is the one where you start out in the city where you're like controlled by the two soldiers, Biggs and Wedge, and
You're basically like you can use these like mechs
yes,
in this one.
Okay, and this is still 2D sprite.
Yes.
Sprite based.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah. So this was like, and to what Jake said, it is apparently the most popular one of all the advances. Or no, actually, of all the Final
Out of
Fantasies,
all
for
the Final
2Ds.
Fantasy, 6 is the best one. I never
And
played it.
I've only played like the first 20 minutes of it. I've never actually finished it. I want to. It's on my list of things.
I would have guessed the most popular Final Fantasy, like overall, like in the whole peon of the world, would be
7.
Tactics.
No, believe it or
I
not,
love
it's not.
Tactics.
I feel
Tactics has a cult following, but 7, I think it's
It's
6, 7. Yeah.
I think actually it's like 9, 7. I think 9 is still revered as like the best one.
You know what? As an 8 apologist, I'm gonna have to take that 9 and say, get the fuck out of here.
8 was doing something fantastic, and then they just shut
The way they ended 8, because we actually watched the ending at work the other day, it was just weird.
But 8, like that's what 8 was going for. They're like, you guys love 7, and it got crazy. We're just gonna get weird now. You were hey,
You guys
spoiler
like
alert
3
for everyone
discs?
who hasn't played
We
8.
got a 4th disc game for you.
Hey, they were all orphans, and they don't remember being raised together. Oh
But
my
I mean,
God.
have you guys read the theories, right? Or the main theory?
Mm-mm.
So they talk about spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't played it.
Oh no.
At the end of disc 1, Squall gets shot into the chest with an icicle, basically.
And he's out for most of disc 2. Yep.
Well, he's unconscious when he wakes up in disc 2, and he's like doesn't have the hole in his chest.
Oh.
Well, it's theorized that he actually died there, and what you're seeing is like his life flashing before his eyes, and it's kind of like gets weird. Like it's almost like he's passing at that moment, so that's why things get really weird and it's unexplained and whatnot. So that's because like if you look, the first half of the first disc is like all somewhat realistic to an extent, and then all of a sudden 2 and 3 shit gets really weird.
Listen
Really
here,
weird.
Listen here, Boomer. I play Kingdom Hearts. His name is Leon.
the freaking just the revelation that they're all orphans and the bad guy raised them all. I was like, oh my God, yes, this is just stupid enough. I need this.
Let's not forget the time traveling sorceress. Come on, that's like the best part of the whole thing.
Hey, I need it to be super ridiculous.
Rather than going and just killing all of them when they're kids, we're just going to go to a specific time period. We're going to stick right here. Know what? If they come at us, they come at us.
I did like the flying. I thought the flying schools was very anime of them.
Oh, that was honestly
Very
probably the most badass part of the whole entire game.
Yeah, it comes up and you're just like, oh my God, this is the ship. February 7th, we're also going to talk about Final Fantasy the rest of the show.
Yeah, all
Yes.
day.
The Sims Life Stories. Is this an add-on or is this like a GBA version?
So that is the no, that's not the GBA version. That is
that a
sorry,
story
I'm drawing
version?
blanks now. I think that's DLC.
Josh with the Sims DLC, getting us on. It's another SEO game, Josh. I appreciate the hustle.
So actually, it is an actual game. It's the part of the Sims Stories series.
See,
So it's its
I wasn't
own
aware.
game.
I wasn't aware of the story
It's
series.
like a DS.
I didn't either. No, it's Windows.
Is that a Telltale Games joint?
Yes.
Like, oh, your sim will remember this.
No, so that is developed by Maxis Redwood Shores
Okay.
and published by EA and Asper Media for the Mac.
Okay.
Life stories as you see your parents get divorced.
Oh, moving on
Jeez.
before this gets too close to real life. February 13th, Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. My using context clues and the brain that I was given as a child, I'm gonna guess this is a PSP or a Vita. No, it would be PSP at this point.
It'd be PS, yeah, so it is PSP, but I also didn't know this. They actually re-released it for the PS2.
Well, it looks like shit.
Well, they always do.
I know it's 15 years old at this point. Look at I've always had a soft spot for Clank. I've always preferred him over that little weasel guy. Was that Daxter?
You leave Dexter out
Daxter
of this.
seemed like a little weaselly
His name
shit.
is in the damn title.
Daxter seemed like a
Boomer.
little weaselly shit.
You're just saying that because there's only 4 Jack games and there's like a 10 billion Ratchet and Clank games.
So Jack and Daxter, Jake, you were right. His name is in the title, but only in the first one. The rest of it, Naughty Dog was like, fuck that Daxter guy. Jack 2. Jack 3.
Because he's more of a side character. He doesn't really do anything.
I'm talking about Ratchet.
I like Clank. I like the little guys. I don't like the big... What is Ratchet?
Oh, he's
Is he an aardvark?
no, he's a
He's
They
like the
talk about
last.
it,
He's like
too.
the last of his kind in the new one.
Yeah. No, he's not the last.
He's
one.
the
there's-
Lombax. He's the Lombax, right?
Lombax. Thank you. Yes,
There it is.
Lombax.
But Jake, I was talking about Daxter from the Jack and Daxter series.
I know, but you called him Daxter.
No, I knew this
Anyway.
was Ratchet. We're getting.
Anyway.
Why are we getting all cutscenes?
I don't
Everything
know. Why
I
do you
click
keep-
is
I say,
cutscenes.
why you
What
keep
the
clicking
hell?
cutscenes?
This is just a
Wait,
game of
this is the
cutscenes.
game?
There we go.
There you
There's
go.
the Ratchet and Daxter that we know and love. I did that
I mean-
on purpose.
Best game out of that series, in my opinion, was Going Commando.
Up Your Arsenal was pretty good.
I would say Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal are tied for first, and then from there it kind of goes like in multiple directions. So anyway, moving on.
But let's be honest, it's been the same game for a long time.
It has.
It's just right now, it's basically just a showpiece for whenever they're putting out a new console.
You're not wrong.
On the 20th of February, Josh, thank you for putting an RTS. Supreme Commander came out.
Mhm.
And then also Crackdown came out. This was an Xbox joint. I forget who developed this, though.
It was it Activision?
No, it wasn't Activision.
Ubisoft? I think it was Ubisoft.
No, developed by Real Time Worlds and published by Microsoft Game Studios.
So the crazy,
Oh.
so the appeal of this one was that it came with a Halo 3 demo. So that's why this became so popular. But it had unintended consequences because this game was actually pretty good. And then they were like, let's do 2 and 3, and 2 and 3 kind of sucked.
It wasn't
Like-
that, okay. 2 wasn't that bad. People, I mean, I get the story; it's a little out there, and it's weird, but it also did such a unique twist, in my opinion.
Was it the first one or second one you find out that like spoiler alert that like you guys are actually the bad guys?
Yeah, the
in the
spoiler
first-
alert at the end of 1 was like, hey, the cops are the bad guys. What?
Yeah, it kind of hinted at, and then the second one is like you realize that you're kind of like you're reborn. You're like realizing, oh yeah, there actually are the bad guys. You kind of like try to do good and better and stop the agency, and it ends up not working in your favor. And then
Imagine
I know it was a twist ending, but I look at it and I'm like, yeah, the cops are the bad guys. Look at all the shit you're doing. Duh.
Imagine if this game came out nowadays.
Oh yeah, it's a tougher sell.
Oh,
Well, and three was promising a bunch of shit, a bunch of promises it couldn't keep.
I think.
I mean, the
the
only-
game is
Go, Jake.
the game's fun. I like. It's kind of more of a sandboxy game. You kind of just do whatever the hell you want. But I feel like it kind of lacked in content.
I like the jumping. The jumping was always my favorite thing. Like jumping around, looking for orbs. Like the combat was always second to me.
Yeah. There's definitely exploration.
Yeah.
Just get a rocket launcher. You're fine. That's all you needed. Like blow up a car. Cool.
Oh,
cool.
it's gone. So the 27th of February, Josh, it is a crime against humanity you not pick a video for this game. Peggle.
You told me to cut.
You
I
don't
was told to
need
cut
it.
content, and I cut content.
Smashing
okay?
Game Time. Smashing Game Time favorite, PopCap Games. You know them, you love them. They put out Peggle, and they changed the world. This game changed the world, and Josh can't even put a video up, but that's okay. If you don't know Peggle, they have the little balls. You're knocking out all the orange ones. When you hit the last orange one, Ode to Joy.
Yeah.
And you try to keep the ball alive as long as possible.
Correct. It's PopCap's version of pachinko.
Yes.
And it's so good. Moving down the line, we have in March the 6th, Graw 2, Tom Clancy, I almost said Tony Hawk's Ghost Recon. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2. It was basically the same game with some added features.
Yes. I mean,
Better
of course.
graphics.
Yeah.
God of War 2, a game that a lot of people consider the swan song of the PS2, came out on March 13th. And this is like the one God of War I never played.
I know, I never played it. I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
I played the rest of them. It looked like I was like, I played the first one. I don't need to play this again. And then the third one came out, and it was just very cinematic. So that was my appeal playing that one.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people cite like this first chase, like what is this? The Colossus Road's chasing you, or something like that. Ooh, excuse me, I got the hiccups.
Yeah, I actually don't know, but yeah, I agree. I mean, the second one, in my opinion, was overshadowed by the first one because the first one was so good. And then, of course, 3 comes along and just eclipses everything just because it's on the PS3 and it is on such a powerful engine. So I think 2 just didn't get the love it needed, but it also kept the franchise alive too. So you got to give it credit there.
2 does feel like so the major note that came out of 1 was that, hey, that fight with Ares was very underwhelming. So it feels like the note they took from that was like, hey, make these bosses badass. And I feel like anytime I've seen footage of 2, like it's been focused on the fight and the fights look pretty good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's the same game.
Didn't they make a PSP game too?
Multiple PSP games.
They made multiple.
So many.
And weren't they like kind of like sidequels? I like to call them sidequels.
Yeah, they were so like some were prequels, some were sidequels. I think there was Ghost of Sparta and Chains of Olympus were the 2.
Yes,
and they both
for the PSP.
And I forget which one is the latter of those 2. But I think it might have been Ghost of Sparta was like one of the best PSP games before the death of the PSP.
I think Ghost of Sparta was the one where it talks about how Kratos starts to like actually hate the gods.
I think that's also one where they introduced Kratos' brother into the lore.
Yes, and it starts to explain why Zeus did what he did.
And those actually, I think those come out like either this year or next year, if I'm not mistaken. One of them do. Up next, we've got the 20th of March was Earth Defense Force 2017. This was a third-person shooter where you were killing ants, right? Like giant ants. It's one of those games that has a cult following. Like that wasn't like the biggest thing, but like it's got its fan base. It's very niche.
I think it's still there on Steam.
23rd, Stalker. I don't know what Stalker stands for. Shadow of Chernobyl. That'd actually be a good trivia question for the future.
I actually don't remember what it stands for either, but it does stand for something.
So this was a first-person shooter. This was PC only at the time. I know that people love the hell out of this game and can't wait for the sequel that rightfully so has been pushed back for what's going on in the world right now. Anything to say about Stalker before we move on?
It was actually the first game I bought on Steam, and I've only played a combined total of 5 minutes of it because I didn't understand when I was younger. I kept dying to the anomalies.
So maybe you should get back into Stalker.
I actually want to.
Stalker was actually made by a gaming company in Ukraine.
Yeah, and that's why the sequel got pushed off because of all the stuff going on over there. So it's pushed back indefinitely. Wishing them well over there. Hopefully they're taking care of each other. 27th, we've got The Elder Scrolls 4 Shivering Isles. So this was an add-on for Oblivion. I remember this one because this was very out there compared to the rest of the game. This was very like magical, like whimsical. Like there's magic in Oblivion, but very like Shivering Isles was a very whimsical place.
Yeah, it was more of like a brightly, like almost like Wizard of Oz feeling compared to all of Elder Scrolls, basically.
Gotcha. It's fun. I played it a few times. That was like the one add-on I really liked for Oblivion. I didn't like the other one, Knights of the Nine or whatever it was.
Yeah, I only remember getting to the place and then going, "Oh my god, I shouldn't have done this," and I quit playing it.
Yeah.
March 28th, Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars. I think I've played this one before. If not, it was one close to it. So let me get you that hot RTS action you've all been wanting on the screen. Look at that base building. Look at that building go up. Oh my god.
And honestly, it still looks pretty good to today's standards.
Because they've re-released some of these, didn't they?
Yeah. I don't know.
Recently.
I think this one was one of the re-releases, yeah. But I mean, it just looks fantastic.
It
You would, I
does.
mean, I know this is like somebody went in and did a mod where it's like updated HD graphics and stuff, but for a almost 15, no,
15,
yeah,
almost on the
yeah,
dot. Yeah.
15-year-old game, it looks really good.
Well, and I think
I like StarCraft better.
Meh. Was this still the point of left click? I don't know. No, this left click was what. So there's like a timeline on RTS where like everything was left click, but now like a lot of games like you kind of transition between left click and right click for certain things. I was playing an older Command and Conquer and like just kept screwing me up left and right. Moving
It
on.
happens.
I'm just an old game journo.
Old
Moving-
fart.
Moving into April, Super Paper Mario, April 9th. Let's pull that bad boy up. I don't know. I've never been big into the Paper Mario stuff.
I enjoy it because obviously it has RPG aspects into it, but beyond that, I mean, I enjoyed them all the way up until the recent one, the Origami King,
Mhm.
and that's just because that was just not as good. Like if you look at like the original Paper Mario, Super Paper Mario, you got the Thousand Year Door. I mean, they're fantastic. They're really good. I enjoy them. Hell, even the weird one where they did it was like I think it was DS where they did like the combination of you had the Super Mario and then the Superstar one where they do the cooperative RPG stuff.
Mhm.
They had those. Those were still even good.
So here's
But then
my
you get-
here's a question about this series. When are they gonna do Paper Waluigi?
Never. First off, Paper Wario needs to come out first. Actually, I take it back. First off, we need a Paper Luigi.
Paper
then
Luigi.
we'll get Wario, and then maybe if they're lucky and they have time and budget, they will do Waluigi.
It's never
Gonna
gonna
do, like,
happen. It's never
Paper
gonna
Mario
happen.
Maker.
Paper Mario Maker? No, please don't. Please don't give Nintendo any ideas.
This is what we need. We need a game where all the villains from the
Villains.
Mario, all the villains from the the Mario world come together and we watch them dominate and destroy the Mushroom Kingdom.
The Mushroom
kidnap
Kingdom
them
needs to come down.
successfully.
If
It'd be like
if
be like
humanity
Super
is going to
Super Bowser
continue
World.
to prosper, the Mushroom Kingdom has to go. It's got to
Yes.
go.
When will Bowser eat a mushroom? That's what I want.
They'll kill him if he eats one. Josh, you sneaky little bitch. You sneaky little fuck. You're doing the quiz today to get out of doing another Pokemon quiz. You sneaky little bitch.
Yeah, basically.
Diamond
You
and
said
Pearl.
you asked, so
Diamond and Pearl are 15 years old. Are these the ones that just got remakes?
recently, yeah.
Yeah.
I could just reach through this computer and slap Josh for sneaking out of this.
Actually, technically, didn't they get like 2 remakes because they got the shiny Diamond or something Pearl? Yeah, because there was ones. So we had this, and then there was the shiny versions, and then I think they just did another one too.
Well,
I
at
think.
Talking about the Icarus one?
our Pokemon knowledge is really showing right now. I think this was these are the
yeah.
ones. The remake of this is what came out in November or December.
Okay, so maybe that's what I'm thinking of then. I don't know. Honestly, at this point, Pokemon starts to blend in. Everything's not original. It's you're gonna remaster your old games.
I don't want to.
mean-
Guys, I don't want to catch them all.
I mean, Pokemon nowadays, you can like look at any object in your house and that's a Pokemon.
iPhoneon, go.
Yeah, like my watch there's a Pokemon, there's probably a watch in there. Like it's crazy.
Jade's
I
got
have
a
a great
Pokemon in his pants.
So I have a great question. How is it that, from Gen 1 we were told, oh yeah, there's only 151 Pokemon in the world. Oh wait a minute, we lied. There's actually another 150, but they're only specific to this region. And so on. And so like every year it's like, yeah, we've been lying to you guys. There's actually like 1 billion Pokemon, but we're trying to give it to you in 150
I
There's
imagine.
intervals.
I imagine
there's a
it's just like
map in the
traveling
world.
because I remember. So like North America, oh, we have deer, and then like you go to Australia, holy shit, a kangaroo. We don't have those where we're from.
Well, right, but it just cracks me up when there's like specifically like, hey guys, well, there's 151 Pokemon in the world. That's it. And then it's like, oh, actually, no, we lied to you. In this certain region, there's actually another 151.
If you really
I
want to
bet
get
Ash
into
is
it,
just-
Professor.
Ash is just losing his damn mind. He's just like, I
God
caught
damn
every
it, Are we
Pokemon.
ever going to discover them all? Fucking Professor Oak.
Motherfucker.
At the start of it, Professor Oak hands you the Pokedex. And like, we have to discover all these Pokemon. Like, those motherfuckers don't know that Weedles and Caterpies are out there.
Well, hold on. First off, we all know Professor Oak just wanted to get to Ash's mom. It was just like, here, kid, here's a Pokédex and a Pokemon.
Get out of town.
Dead?
Get out of
That
town.
guy's dead.
It was
That's your
him.
real dad.
It was him and 2 other houses, so you know he was doing something.
Oh, he was like, he said both. He sent his grandson and Ash out to get all the girls to himself.
How the fuck is the guy who does all the research in town not gonna do his own research? That's all I have to say about Professor Oak.
He's retired.
He's not retired. Don't stand up for him, Jake. Next up, April 24th, The Lord of the Rings Online Shadow of Angmar. Angmar?
Angus.
Someone's coming to get me. What is this, Josh? This is an MMO?
Yeah, that's their MMO. It's just DLC.
I forgot Lord of the Rings had an MMO for a while.
How could you? I mean, it's still honestly, it's.
Yeah. Are they making another one? Like, is
They are.
Amazon working on one?
They're working on a show.
I think they're working on a
that's
game too. I
They're
think.
working on another game. Jesus.
Yeah.
We don't need more MMOs.
You saw how Lost World went.
Moving. Yeah, that world is lost. Moving on. May 16th, Aegis Wing. This was a
remember this game.
re-release, Josh, if I'm not mistaken.
No, but this is where we're starting. This is when they introduced Xbox Live Arcade.
Oh my god.
And
We're entering the golden
Microsoft
age.
was,
We're entering
yes,
the golden age.
and Microsoft was also releasing something similar for Windows.
Now this had multiplayer, right? So you could like combine your ships and do like weird ship sex things, right?
Yes. that is correct.
Yes.
Ship sex.
Some
Yes.
babies were made.
So the only reason I put it on the list, I know it's a re-release, but it's like we're getting into that point where Xbox Live Arcade became a thing, and Sony and Nintendo saw it and were like, "Oh crap!" And they both almost immediately came back out and were like, "Hey, we're developing our own stuff for it, kind of for like not only just bigger games or older games, but even for indie releases."
Well, and yeah, so like this generation, Xbox eight indies up. Like I don't think anyone really I think Sony got close towards the end with like things like Fat Princess and Flower and Journey. But otherwise, yeah, this was the era for indies on Xbox for real. And the next few years we'll see it because I was fangirling for all these indies so hard.
I remember trying to get all the achievements in this game.
It was a tough game. Like look at this. Like it's not pure bullet hell, but I'm sure it gets worse the further into this you get.
No,
Yes.
because I think there's even an achievement where you had to have all 4 ships connect and not take a single damage.
Yep.
Oof, that's asking a lot.
I think there's like achievements for like scoring, and then like not. Or I think there was one with like not shooting at all.
I remember that. I do remember
Oh yeah.
that.
I think there was a time where I accidentally hit the button, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Are you fucking kidding me? May 29th, Mario Party 8. I didn't realize we were up to 8 already.
Yeah, I didn't
that's-
either. I saw
yeah.
that. I
'Cause
was
the
like, "Oh,
first-
what?"
Was the first Mario Party 98, 99, something like that?
I know
Yeah, 'cause it
Nintendo
was 64.
So we're basically
64 had like the first 3.
we're basically on like a Mario Party a year at this point. Anything after the Nintendo 64 is just garbage.
The newest Switch one's actually really good.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that the greatest hits?
Basically, yeah, and it's actually it's a lot of fun.
Do they have
So
Shy
far.
Guy Says on there?
Yeah, I think it does. That's actually. I know they have the jump rope fire.
Oh, the jump rope fire is good. Shy Guy Says is like the one where you raise the flags and he's like,
Yeah, they do. And
Do
he
they
cuts
have
you if
the-
you get it wrong.
do they have like the mushroom one where it's like, oh, get on the green mushroom and you have to run
No,
to the green mushroom?
The best one out of
Yeah.
all the games is Grab Bag.
Grab bag's good. Is that the one where you're
When you
throwing the
when
bag
you-
into the chute?
no, well, you're all in arena and you all have a bag and you kind of just like steal from each other.
You know what the best?
You get behind them and grab them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what the best Mario Party is? And I'm gonna piss people off when I say this. Fall Guys.
Gross. Get out of here. Oh, you mean that one time where they had a maintenance break for like almost a week?
Oh, they
And
took the
lost
game
half
down
of
for
it?
a week.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when the game came out, like they had a maintenance break trying to do updates and shit, and it took almost a week for them to actually let everyone play the game
Now that was
Yeah.
after release, or that was after Epic bought them.
after release.
Yeah, but the game, if you remember, it ran really rough out the gate. They had to take that break, or no one was gonna stay.
I mean, and some people say that's what killed it.
I would say that's
I
what
still
killed it.
I still get games anytime I jump in there. Moving on to June 19th, Dirt came out. That's right, the thing you play with in your backyard when you're an adult. Dirt.
No, I don't know if you guys
Bully.
remember this, but I remember seeing ads, commercials, everything for this game. People were just talking about it
It's
left and right.
I mean, it still
I
looks
was
pretty
never
good for
talking
being a
about it.
15-year-old game.
Yeah, I just remember seeing stuff for it all the time, and I was just like, started watching the video when I was pulling it up, and I'm like, honestly, it looks really good. It looks like a lot of fun. I remember not playing it. I think we maybe played like a sequel to it, but not this one particularly.
Didn't Dirt 4 just come out for PS5?
I think recently, yeah, within the past couple
Like,
months.
I want to see what that looks like because this looks okay for being 15 years old. So I imagine what that one. Imagine the dirt flying at you in 4K, Josh.
Like, oh god,
Josh, is like
Imagine
I love
eating
getting
dirt.
dirt
Lifelike.
thrown at me.
Imagine eating
Yes,
dirt in
please.
4K.
You dirt
I can just
eaters.
go outside.
You fucking PS5 owners are a bunch
You-
of dirt eaters.
You dirt grub.
Same day, Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition came out. That game was on getting added to everything. Resident Evil 4
Everything.
was spreading like the goddamn T virus.
And the reason I brought it up is because it did the one feature that every Wii game. So, like, if there's a game that was already released or on a different console, it did the one thing everybody was trying to do on the Wii, and it used the Wii sensor to do stuff. So, like, to aim, rather than using the stick to be able to, move around and stuff and aim, you had to point on your TV and do it. And honestly, I watched a video because I was originally going to pull up a video for it. I watched it. I cringed on how
I
difficult.
can't.
This is making me hurt. We're not talking about this game anymore, Josh.
Yeah.
June 25th, The Darkness came out. I remember. Now, this is a game I remember being advertised to hell.
Mhm. And it was, in my opinion at least, it wasn't even that good.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I remember this.
This, like, it looked cool, but like it looks like the shooters of the time. Like it looks like
GoldenEye.
not GoldenEye. It looks more like a Black or a what's another shooter from this timeline? I don't remember. They just all looked the same to me.
Killzone.
Killzone would be another one. This kind of looks like it was going for the fear element,
Yeah.
but you were more scarier. Which it doesn't really work because if you're going for the fear level, like if you're going for the themes or the kind of experience that fear was offering, you cannot be scary at all. You can have your guns and that's it. Instead, you've got little tentacle monsters that eat bad guys.
You're basically Venom. You are basically fucking Venom.
Yes, you are fucking Venom. I was gonna say I clicked on a part where he
You're-
ate a guy, but I think I've missed them all. I couldn't tell you put that out either. Do you know,
Blech.
Josh?
Off the top of my head, I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, look that up while we move on into July. July 3rd, Ninja Gaiden Sigma and Vampire Reign came out. I can't believe Vampire Reign's that old. It's a game I've never seen gameplay of or anything, but it's a game I'm aware of just because
That's not how you spell rain.
I think it was Rayn, right, Jake?
No, it's Reign.
I think it was spelled differently. I think it's Rayn.
Starbreeze Studios
Starbreeze.
developed.
So
And then two
Starbreeze, I love them because they did the Riddick games, and I think we're coming up on a Riddick soon. I think we're coming up on Dark Athena,
Yeah, it comes up soon. Not this year though.
which it's a shame that it's so hard to
Vampire
get.
Rain. That's exactly how it's spelled, actually.
What, Rayn?
Rain.
No, the actual game. Yeah, that's how
Oh,
it's
they
spelled.
spelled it right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Unless Wikipedia is wrong, which is very possible. But
And it's
Well,
just
that's
crazy
actually
that Ninja Gaiden Sigma is like the only version of that game that they still have the source code for. Like
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden Vanilla, gone forever, lost to time, unless you have a disc. Which that seems like to me would be like, we should probably get a disc for this. We should probably get a sealed copy of this game and stow it away somewhere,
Such a tough game.
right?
Tough series.
24th Dynasty Warriors DS Fighters Battle. We're just gonna skip right on over that. I'm not clicking.
come on, I
that.
did it for the. I did it for
Bro.
the memes. I did
Did
it
it
for the.
Bro.
memes.
There's memes.
Ah.
There's memes.
No, I did it for the. It's just watch it real quick.
Oh,
You don't have to share
no.
the screen. Just watch it real
If
quick.
you're watching on video, you're getting.
What
a
are we
treat.
watching?
Your
What is
opponent
this
moved to
shit?
Another
So
area.
terrible. I watched the
My-
video because I was like, oh, I'm curious. I was like, oh my god, this is so shitty.
My screen's gonna. It's gonna break.
My computer can't handle all these frames. Oh no!
Get this off my screen.
Just did it for the I saw that and I was like, this cannot be good.
The
And
man doesn't
I was
pull a
proven
video
right.
for Peggle, the game of the generation, but he will pull that. Okay,
It was
August.
worth it.
August. This is where the meat and potatoes really come into play.
Oh,
Everyone, put
yeah.
on your headbands and get ready.
Well,
August 4th, Persona 3. I wasn't aware there was Persona 3 because 4 and 5 got released on everything, and I've never seen this one.
yeah, and like I was never a Persona person, but like I heard it's good. I don't know.
I've tried playing the first two. It's way different. Like, so I started up on 4, so I enjoyed 4 and 5. I tried to go back and playing the first two, and it's completely different. It's different style, different law. I mean, it's similar aspects, but it's still different. Persona 3, I actually have not tried yet, but from my understanding, it's still similar. It's like a perfect in between. So I'll go back and try it eventually. But for now, 4 and 5, if you enjoy them, I'd stay there for the moment.
Josh isn't gonna go back and try those. He's not. He's lying.
No,
I,
sure
no,
not.
I promise you, I am.
And
Moving
then-
on to Nick's favorite game of the world.
That's not my favorite. August 21st, BioShock. If you haven't seen a video, an essay video on this game, have you heard of BioShock? I love this game. I love what it did, but I just feel like it's one of those games where, like, if you want to become a YouTube essayer for games, like, this is the first
where you
game you have to
start.
touch on. Like, BioShock really hits on drug issues and racism. Well, that's BioShock Infinite.
Would you kindly shut the fuck up?
Would you kindly stop doing essays for BioShock, please? It's fun. They're doing a YouTube, a Netflix show for it, or a Netflix movie. I don't know how that'll go. So
I think it's a series.
real quick, what is the best? So in the last 10 years, what would you guys say is probably the best, like, gaming IP that it's hit the big screen, either be it a TV show or a movie? Because I have an answer, but I want to see what you guys say.
Detective Pikachu.
Okay. What about you, Josh?
Honestly, I don't have anything.
So if you had asked me like a few months ago, I would have said Witcher, just because they're like going crazy and doing all these different things. They're kind of doing the Game of Thrones thing where it's like, we need 10 different series. But like screen wise and just looking at it, I think the best, it's either Detective Pikachu, like Jake said, or Sonic.
I kind of want to see the new Sonic. It looks pretty good.
I want to see.
I haven't even seen the first one.
I want to see the first one, but I mean, I've never heard a bad thing about it, and it just seems like they're doing it right, whereas everyone else is doing it wrong. I read an interview for the Halo series that's coming out on Amazon.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Oh, we didn't watch the series. We just sat down and talked to developers about characters and lore." It's like, what the fuck? What do you mean that's what you did?
I heard like the first episode was eh.
Yeah, it was, but we didn't play the game. Shut the.
I mean, have you guys watched Arcane?
No.
I've heard that's pretty good.
It's so good, and you don't even have to like know the characters. I mean, it helps that you do, but it's so good.
So you don't
It's
have to
so
know
good.
League at all.
Yeah, you don't have to know, but if you do, it kind of helps because then you get like so excited, kind of like, oh, I played that character before.
Not like you'd want to play League anyway, right?
I only play ARAM or TFT. Don't get me on the Rift.
August 27th, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. I think this game suffered from being on the Wii, if I'm being honest.
Yes, and I think that's where its downfall is, because once again, we're seeing it, even if it wasn't on an old system or an older system, a different system, no matter what, if you're on the Wii, they wanted you to use the motion sensors so bad.
I kind of wish they had done what they did for Twilight Princess and put this out on both. I think this game would have done a lot better if they'd done both.
I agree. And then one thing that upsets me the most is when they re-released the whole trilogy in a pack. That's what they basically imported that feature into Metroid Prime 2. Yes,
Yeah.
and I cringed. I cringed so hard when I read that, because I was like, oh, I want to pull up the Wii one because I can get the trilogy. And when I tried playing it, I'm like, it's not working. I looked it up and I was like, oh my god, you did that to that trilogy? Oh man, you just ruined greatness.
My boy, my beautiful boy. I think that's where they're running into issues with 4 right now, because they have both thumbsticks now. They have way more buttons than they ever had on a controller. Yeah. And they're running into issues on how to make Samus control in 3D with 2 joysticks. Because the C button, the C joystick used to just be like switch the weapon, right? Switch the beam.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they're running into an issue. I don't think we're gonna see Prime 4 on the Switch.
Like,
honestly, they could use R3 and L3. Like there was no use for those because they didn't really exist except for the newer console. So it's like you could use those to switch.
Because if you went back and played Prime right now and use a GameCube controller, I think it would feel weird because her movement, like everything
Well, it's
is
definitely. I've done it before. It's janky. It's obviously it's not the best.
everything is
At the time,
tied to
though,
that
give
left
them credit.
thumbstick. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nuts that played as good as it did.
Yeah,
Anything
but this
anything
is
else
my
on?
just prove my point here. You saw her finger moving around. That's the motion sensor part.
Oh,
So it's like
so
it's
janky.
really janky.
I was like, this person not know what they're doing?
No, it's the motion sensor. They probably know what they're doing. It's just not working right.
Frustration.
Finishing out August, Monster Hunter Freedom 2. Speak of the devil. We mentioned this series earlier. The Medal of Honor Airborne. Both okay. Both not like big. I feel like both weren't like real big game changers in their series.
No, but they had their cult followings, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moving into September, The Sims 2 Bon Voyage came out on September 4th. I'm guessing that's like a vacationing DLC for The Sims.
Probably.
And
Yeah,
our
it's
strike out into
expansion
SEO.
pack. Yeah,
SEO, baby.
expansion
We got
pack
it.
for Sims 2.
And then we've got a shit ton of shit here on September 12th.
Shit ton of shit.
We got My Sims, Digimon World Dusk, Digimon World Dawn. I love how they're trying to do the Pokemon thing there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was their take on it.
That was like, guys, we have
Yeah.
to stay alive. Do these.
Rumble Arena was probably the best Digimon game out there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to play that. Stuntman Ignition, and then the one we've got a video for here is Heavenly Sword. This was a game that I've seen the cover for multiple times and always wanted to try it. Because I went through a hack and slash phase when I got a PS3. And this has always looked amazing to me.
So if I remember correctly, and they correct me if I'm wrong, this was like they were like, oh, this is gonna be the God of War, not killer, but this was supposed to be like a God of War like super clone, like it was supposed to be just as good.
Was this like aimed to be? I remember this having like, I don't know. Was it considered difficult? Like, was it going to be their Ninja Gaiden? Because
Yeah.
PlayStation didn't get Ninja Gaiden until this year with Sigma.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, this was like their Ninja Gaiden.
Gaiden, Nick. Gaiden.
Gaiden. I've heard it both ways.
I heard both ways, and then I also remember it's supposed to be like not a killer because obviously they don't want to kill it, but this is supposed to be like a good like clone of it. Like if you like a God of War, you'll love this.
Trying to see who developed this because this is from Ninja Theory. A very young Ninja Theory at this point.
I mean, of course, for 2007, it looks great. The gameplay looks a little fuzzy, but it definitely looks God of War-ish.
Trying to remember what else they've done.
The combat almost looks like it's Spider-Man or Batman Arkham.
I mean, this was one that I want. So like when I got my PS3, I was like, I have to play this, and I never did. But yeah, so this was Ninja Theory's second game. They did Kung Fu Chaos on Xbox in 2003, and then they followed this up with Enslaved Odyssey to the West in 2010. So yeah, a very very young Ninja Theory. They didn't really take off, it looks like, until they got the DMC Devil May Cry in 2015. I'm sorry, they got Devil May Cry in 2013. So they slowly made a name for themselves, and then what is it? The Hellblade games that everyone likes was 2017. So very very young Ninja Theory. PS3 exclusive. I'm still kind of wanting to play it. It doesn't look bad.
You only got that for the whammon.
No.
Not wrong.
Josh.
And then, of course, the very next day, we have our Tony Hawk killer. Because let's face it, at this point, Tony Hawk was going downhill.
September 13th, Skate.
Yeah.
If you have people who've played Skate, they haven't shut up about Skate 4 since Skate 3 came out. Skate 4, make it happen.
4.
EA, make Skate great again. Annoying. Just play.
Game's hard to play if you haven't played it.
Just go fucking skate.
I just remember this. I remember this one coming out though, and people would not shut up about it. It was like people were just saying how much better this was compared to Tony Hawk, or the newer Tony Hawk at the time. Like, I think Proving Grounds was just coming out.
Well, and Tony Hawk it was hurting. It was hurting after. I think
after
Thug 2 was the last like really like acclaimed one. Oh, and he just wrecked on that part. The Skate's fine. It's not something that I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go skate, and then I boot up the PC and go skate. It's never been my It's never been my cup of tea. So then 18th of September, Warriors of Orochi. What is that, Josh?
That's basically the Dynasty Warriors, where it's 1 against 1,000.
Moving on, September 24th, Company of Heroes opposing fronts. This was a DLC for Company of Heroes. I think it brought in like a new faction too. There's a bunch of Company of Heroes stuff, so it's hard to keep track of like what was what. I'm sure there's some Company of Hero nerds listening that will know. I've dabbled, so I haven't earned my nerdum in that yet. And then the 25th, oh my god.
Birthday.
25th.
I remember when this came out.
The
I remember when this came out, and I remember we're begging Dad to get us an Xbox 360.
Wow,
And
this
he did
looks-
buy it.
This looks really
And
good.
he did.
Yeah,
We
Halo
got this
3 is
day
the
it came
game.
out.
September 25th, we finished the fight. I think we beat it the day it came out. You're right.
Yeah, because it was the first time you could do 4-player co-op storyline, and we all sat there and played it. I think we kicked Mikey out, and he couldn't play. He was pissed at us.
I'd argue.
Wah.
Oh, maybe a GTA might have overtaken it, but I'd argue this was like the last big launch night for video games, like the last big like midnight release.
I mean, they had Gears of War.
Yeah, Gears of War was last year though. Gears of War didn't have like Gears 2 and 3 did not have the following that this had.
No, I'd say Halo 3 was like the very last for sure.
This broke.
I mean, I remember going to a Halo 4 launch, and it was actually pretty big too.
This broke the zeitgeist. Like, yes, 4 and 5 both had like big releases, but I don't think anything like
This was huge.
like culture wise, like nothing broke the seal that this broke. Like this was big deal, the big deal McNeil, the real big deal. Because what Halo 2 was 2004. Like they had 3 years to hype
Something
this
like
up.
that.
This was going to move Xboxes. Like Xbox, this is the whole reason Xbox 360 came out a year before the other guys, so they had more time to work on this.
And we had our first look at DLCs thanks to Halo 3.
Yeah.
I don't think DLCs were really a thing until Halo 3 was out.
DLCs were around.
Well, no. I mean, like, as in, like, rather than having like to buy for PCs, you had to buy the expansion packs.
Mhm.
With DLCs, you only needed the base game, and you could download it. You didn't have to go somewhere and buy a physical copy of it. You could download it.
So Halo 2, like if you remember when you went online to Halo 2, you couldn't access the DLC from Halo 2 directly. You had to like open up the Xbox, start it up.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
So there were DLCs, but I think this is like around like 360 was
map
when
packs.
DLC was in map packs, and so like I mean, you had your DLCs for like Oblivion and stuff. So like this is where there was like what you're referring to is like the start of like a storefront, because Xbox didn't really have that storefront, and now 360 was in basically its second year, or no, this might have been the year 3. It came out in 2005, and this was the point where you started to see like, oh hey, like here's Halo 3, and then the list of like, okay, here's Halo 3's DLC, and it was a really good storefront. It's something.
That's what I meant. I mean, I knew there was DLCs, but that's what I truly meant was like a storefront for it.
And then it got because it got messy when Xbox One came out, because their storefront was just a hot mess. Like there'd be like Halo 5 this edition, Halo 5 that edition, Halo.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that they did really well in the 360 era, and then just completely boned it up in the Xbox One era. But we'll get to that. This was some fun ass multiplayer. Like this multiplayer, did this just go down? No, I think this is either going down soon or it just went down.
I think it went down recently.
I think it might have been either January or February.
Yeah, so now the way you can play it is either through your own servers or by using
The Master Chief Collection.
This makes me really sad, because I remember when the 2 servers went down like 10-ish years ago, and now I just feel
yeah,
so
a lot of the 360 servers are going down, and my sister-in-law was like, "Oh yeah, we're trying to find games," and I'm like, "Wait, you have a 360? Yeah, don't."
Were they trying to play Halo 3?
No, they're trying to find any free game on the 360. I'm like, "You're not. Good luck."
It's going by. Like thankfully, Microsoft's still supporting that storefront. Unlike, I guess Sony kind of backed off and said they're going to keep supporting PS3. But yeah, you're slowly going to see these start to fade away.
Yep.
Which it's like, and this is why Game Pass is great, because it's going to help with keeping games relevant, keeping games in like the zeitgeist. These won't be lost, but yeah, just having having Xbox doing that makes me nervous, because it going through one pipeline means it's going to cost you a pretty penny. And I love Game Pass right now, but won't always be a thing.
The market.
I miss the dual wielding needler. I miss it.
Still can't do it. Still can't do it.
I miss it. R.I.P. little buddy. We were good friends. Moving into October, Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass came out on the 1st. That was one of those DS releases. People love or hate those. I know they have like the tower thing that people hate in Phantom Hourglass. Oh boy, second is here's a bunch. We've got The Legend of Spyro: The Eternal Night. I thought that was a Zelda game for a minute. It threw me off. Project Gotham Racing 4. Geometry Wars Waves, which I've never heard of. Josh put up here.
You never heard of Waves?
I've never heard of Waves. Siphon Filter, Logan Shadow. Of course, Josh put Logan Shadow up.
Of course.
I'm guessing a bunch of these are PSP.
Yeah.
A few of these.
But no, so only a couple of them. Some of them are PS3. So Logan Shadow's PSP. Wars is the Xbox Live Arcade. Spyro is PS2, GBA, and DS. I forgot what else I put on there because I'm looking at both lists.
So then October 4th, it's crazy because Activision owned Crash and Spyro, and they put those games out 2 days apart. What are you doing? Cannibalizing. That's so dumb. Crash of the Titans came out on the 4th. It's an Activision Crash game. October 9th, Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of the Lions. What was this? What was this one?
PSP.
So
PSP
version of the PSX one, but there's just more content to it, and it has some better graphics.
Yeah, it's like like cinematic events. That's pretty much it.
And it has updates to it. It's like it's a better version of it, a more up-to-date version of it.
Okay.
I remember getting it, and it crashed a lot. That's all I can tell you.
It got better.
October 10th. Oh my God, I forgot how monumental this year was. The Orange Box, Half-Life 2, Half-Life Episode 1, Episode 2, Team Fortress 2, and Portal, all for the price of one game. This is basically the beginning of Steam. They released this and they're like, oh, this has value. And then Storefront happens. And then what's that?
Yeah, I tried to find one video for it, but every video it brought up was basically episodes or Half-Life 2 and all their episodes in one playthrough. There was never like just like where it'd show you like the opening and show you all 5 games.
You'd have to find like a trailer
Half-Life
or something.
3.
Yeah. All right. Big game. If you can still find a copy of that, find a sealed copy, stow it away, because that is a piece of history right there. Mm-hmm. October 16th, Tony Hawk's Proving Ground. If you find a sealed copy of this, open it and smash it. Ace Combat 6, Fires of Liberation. People love those games. They're very, very anime. Very not for Nick.
Very
Microsoft
anime.
Flight Simulator X Acceleration. That would have melted anything that we had back then, I'm sure. Oh, yeah. Just like the new one probably melts a few of our things.
Red Ring of Death.
Red Ring. The 22nd, The Sims 2 Castaway. I'm guessing it's another DLC.
Why are you putting all these?
We just want to keep mentioning the Sims. So get on the SEL.
Get out of here. Get the plug. Get this plug-in out of here. Are you trying to advertise for Sims?
We are an ad. Ad. Josh is a Sim. October 23rd, Castlevania: The Dracula X Chronicles. What is this?
So that one is it's the PSP remake, if I remember correctly, of what's it called? I'm drawing a blank here. Nick, keep talking. I'll look it up and I'll tell you here in a second.
All right. So the 23rd, we're not watching another Ratchet and Clank game. This was Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, we're not watching that.
Tools of Destruction, Tomb Raider Anniversary. This is right before. This was a few years before the new Tomb Raider would come out, and then Mega Man ZX Advent. That was just a calendar they put out. That's not even a game, Josh. It's an Advent calendar. Mega Man Advent calendar.
Mega
Man.
That Dracula X on there, it's just basically like a report of the Rondo of Blood game.
Now we know, and knowing is half the battle.
Get out of here, G.I. Joe.
28th, Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. 2 was better. 3 had some okay tracks. They had what was that, Axl Rose on the cover with his hat? That was pretty neat. The 30th, okay, we have to watch Beat Movie the game.
I'm like, why are we watching this? I knew it was going to be.
It has the original voice actors too.
I watched that movie for the first time the other day. It's fucking crazy. It's nuts. They go to court. He takes them to court over the honey, and then that one Southern lawyer gets stung by the bee and overreacts.
How do you? Chick falls in love with the bee.
It's the bee movie.
So originally I was like, I'm gonna put this on there for the memes, and then I started like watching it. And I was like, oh my god, it's the original cast too. It blew my mind, so I had to keep it in there.
It's smashing game time, but they double the speed every time somebody says
I don't understand like Hollywood's logic when they're just like, oh, let's make a movie about bees. Let's see if
It
we
had
can
to.
get
It had to
Jerry
be Jerry.
Seinfeld.
It had to be because Seinfeld was attached. That had to be it. It reminds me of my favorite 30 Rock when they're
Is
doing
this DreamWorks?
they're doing
Oh,
the
and Seinfeld Vision.
Seinfeld vision, and he's like, "I'll do it, but I want commercial plugs for the B movie." And Jack's like, "Okay." All right.
Honestly, like I said, it was just the fact that it had. When I heard Jerry Seinfeld talking, I about died. I was like, "We have to keep this video in there." This
Hey,
is
what is this? A
perfect.
video game?
It's a
I didn't
video
realize they
game.
released a video game.
What is this?
for
A B
it.
movie game?
Yeah, it's when movies, it's around that time where movie game adaptations,
They were starting to die off at this point. I feel it
yeah,
was
they
getting
were there.
close. There were a
You don't
few
see
good
those
ones.
nowadays.
Same day, The Witcher came out. The very first Witcher. This does not
Mhm.
look like your grandnephew's Witcher, though. This looks
No, this is
This looks more tabletop esque.
yes, and like I mainly put it in here because everybody like hops on the bandwagon of 3 is so good. Well, that's just it. It's the third one. There are 2 other games. I've played the first one. It's definitely different. I've played the second one. It improved. It's still different compared to the third, but obviously it started somewhere and it kept going. And you have to give thanks to the original. That's what it is.
It's fun to look at this and imagine Cyberpunk 2077 is Cyberpunk's version of this.
Yes.
So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
if they do 2 more,
We
What-
might get something good.
what could happen?
They're the anti Steam or anti Valve. The first 2 are okay, and then you get to the third game and it's fantastic. Where Valve does the first 2 games and then never touches the third. If there's a 3 in it, it's automatically destroyed.
It's dead. Also out on the 30th, Manhunt 2, not as great as the first one. Time
So
Shift.
wasn't Manhunt like a controversial game?
Yeah, the first
Yes.
one was. The second one, not so
Yeah.
much.
Not so much. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
remember it got banned in a bunch of countries.
Because there's violence everywhere at this point. Like, if you're banning violent video games, you're banning them all at this point, except for WarioWare. Time Shift and Viva Pinata Party Animals also came out. Moving on. November 5th, the game that changed shooters, even Halo, once it came out. What was this? The 4th of November, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I see why they got rid of the numbers. It tends to be a mouthful. People always like the multiplayer of these games. I thought the campaign on this one was really good.
I like both.
Yeah.
As someone who
Mile.
suffered, well, yeah, they were both really good. But as someone who
Mile
suffered,
High Club, man.
okay, is this on? Is Mile High Club on here? Kind of want to click to it.
I think like the first couple minutes it's on that one in this video.
I think it has the most memorable ending in any Call of Duty too. By the way,
Yeah.
just with the helicopter crashes down on you and you end up shooting the one guy.
Yep.
But it also, I remember it just feeling very abrupt.
Oh, the ending.
Yeah.
Oh, they had to set it up for number 2.
Oh yeah, you had to start the
Yeah.
series. You had to start the series somewhere. The gunplay always felt good though. I'll give them.
And
that.
I absolutely enjoy the fact that the hardest achievement on there, in my opinion, and probably still is, because I finally did it eventually, was the beating the Mile High Club on the hardest difficulty with a certain amount of time remaining.
That took a lot of time too.
A lot of retries.
It probably took me like a full day to get it.
I think it was the first game I ever watched YouTube videos on how to do it.
Yeah,
I remember
you're
that the
right.
sniper mission was pretty tough.
Which part? The beginning part where you had to sneak through, or
No.
the end part where you take the
The
shot
end
and then
part
escape?
when you have to survive. The end part where you have to survive at the end.
And you're carrying price, or your price, but you're carrying whoever the guy is with you through parts of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really tough. My favorite mission in that was always it's the random mission where you're like clearing out each house, like you're in like a field and you're clearing out each house, and it was just really,
it's the one with the AC-130 at the next one because you follow them. That one.
Oh yeah.
yeah. So you clear out the house, and the next mission is the AC-130.
Yeah.
Tough.
I think another hard one though was when you climbed up the hill, but then like going back down the hill to extract.
Oh yeah. I do remember
That one was tough.
So
So you had people shooting at you left and right.
So people talk a lot about like the no Russian scene in the second one, and I feel like not enough people talk about the scene in this one where I think you're like a governor or you're like a president of a country, and they throw you like I think this is the opening mission. They throw you in the back of a car, and like basically they're like carrying you to your execution.
Oh, they execute you on live TV. Yeah, that is
I
that
think
one.
I think that was the best
aggressive.
version of that they did. No Russian was kind of tasteless, and then the one they did in the third one was even more tasteless. It was the little girl with the video camera. Her family was on vacation in France, I believe.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I think that first one was very like, yeah, like kind of fucked. Like it was fucked. They were all fucked up, but
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah,
that
yeah.
first one was like the most powerful one of those.
How do you
Well,
guys?
I don't know. This the No Russian one. You're in an airport.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
this
in
is
an
right
airport,
after
but
9/11 and all that stuff.
I
But
mean,
like,
it was 10,
oh,
almost 10
it was
years at that point.
it was a couple
Yeah.
of years. But like, you're in control of shooting people in an airport.
I don't think
You
you
don't
can
have
sell
to-
copies of Modern Warfare 2 right now if you tried. Yeah, it'd be very tough. But yeah, I think because I think honestly, No Russian was played up for shock. I think they saw the shit that Michael Bay was doing with movies, and they're like, we need some shock factor.
We need some people talking about it.
We need people talking about it. They're going to talk about this. Like they even give you the option to skip it. I don't know if that was a result of the news,
No.
but I think that originally it came with the option to skip it, so they knew it was going to fuck with people.
Well, I think in all three games, there at the beginning there was an option to skip controversial scenes. I think
No,
you could
I
skip
don't think
every
in the
single
first one.
First
I don't
one you
think you could in
couldn't.
the
But
first
you
one.
could.
First one,
Oh.
because
Well,
you'd
okay,
be-
maybe I'm thinking of the remake then that they did.
maybe
for it.
maybe the remake, but I don't know. I don't know if 3 had the option to skip the little girl scene. I don't think it gave you that option.
Don't get me started with Advanced Wars. Advanced Warfare.
You know, I mean, I don't know
Press
how
F.
I don't know how they drummed up, but
No, but I think it's the whole press F, pay respects.
That's where that comes in. Yeah.
My-
Press F. Chat, everyone.
my hot take for Call of Duty is Ghost is better than people remember it.
Ghost is good.
Ghost is really good. I actually loved the campaign. I always want. I
I
want
cared
the
about
second
it because it was a guy, his brother, and his dad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dad
And
dies,
oh,
and then you and your brother basically kill. I say stop, but you stop the villain, and he ends up dragging you off, and it ends with it basically you being like trained to like how he was. So like you're being psychologically tortured into becoming him, basically.
I think Ghost was way better than people give it credit for. I think all the Black Ops besides one suck, and I think Ghost is way better.
and their take on zombies, like the aliens, is actually really fun.
For
Yeah.
for Ghost. I never get into the ghosts or zombies or anything like that.
It was just a really good take, in my opinion.
It's hard.
It was really hard, but it was fun.
November 5th, also out the same day, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn.
Is that the GameCube one?
I think that was the GameCube one, yeah. That sounds like the GameCube one. But we were past GameCube.
No, that was
though.
Wii. That was
That was
Wii.
Wii.
Yeah.
But that sounds like something Nintendo would do. Like, oh, you want this Fire Emblem game? Play it on our GameCube, you little bitches.
Buy
November 6th, we got a slew of games here. We got Fear Files, which was DLC or like extensions of the campaign. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. This was so they were getting ready for Beijing. Mario was getting ready to outswim Michael Phelps. They were both high as shit. Silent Hill Origins was the PSP Silent Hill. I think it was a rehash of the first one, if I'm remembering correctly. Like it had elements of it, not like a full-on repeat of the first one, but.
Yeah, basically.
And then SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs Tactical Strike.
I think that was a
PSP.
PSP one.
Yeah,
PSP
also.
as well.
And then 12th, Super Mario Galaxy. I think people like Super Mario Galaxy 2 better than 1.
Once again, it's just it's the motion sensor. They wanted you to point and do stuff, and it was really annoying.
There was already a better like 3D-esque like here's the world. Like remember when they did that shit on Yoshi's Island, like the battle on like the little moon with the boss?
Yep.
Way better. The 13th, we've got some more stuff here. We've got WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. Oh, see you in the ring.
Yeah.
Contra 4, Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles, Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops Plus. We got 2 videos here. We got Kane and Lynch Dead Man, which I believe this is the game that got Jeff Gerstmann in trouble over at GameSpot and caused him and a bunch of other those fellows to leave and start Giant Bomb. It was either this one or the second one. All I know is who was it? This was IDOS? Yeah, this is IDOS. And I think they were sponsoring the game on the site. Got a bad review and they did not like that.
Yep.
See, this game to me should be better because they were coming off of this was either after Blood Money or before it, but they had also just recently had Freedom Fighters, which felt solid. So you'd think that, hey, these guys have been doing third person like shooter type games for a long time now. They should be good at this. My other hot take on this though is that this is better than those Army of Two games. Completely
You
different
shut your
developers.
Hey, Army of the
Completely-
first one was good, damn it.
Completely different developers. I still think it's
Shut your
better than
mouth.
Army of
First
Two.
one was good. The other two could suck
The
ass.
second one is good too. It's just different. And then I agree after
Oh.
that. Devil's Cartel was pretty crap.
Anyone
The only
who's
thing
listening to
about
this,
Devil's Cartel was the song. Okay.
anyone who's listening to this, just go ahead and pop on over into an Army of Two video and watch those motherfuckers sprint. Case closed.
Okay. Once again, I will give it to you that Devil's Cartel was not the best. However, the Double or Nothing song that came out of it was perfect.
But you know what? You know what's crazy? These guys are getting ready to do a James Bond game. You know what? I look back at Everything or Nothing, which was, I think that was an EA joint back in the day. I think Eidos has. I think they've matured a lot since shit like this. I mean, they just went through another Hitman trilogy that was well received. They've got James Bond. I hope that sticks now with all the MGM stuff, even though MGM doesn't really own Bond. It's more of the Eon Studios or whatever, the Eon
I
company.
wonder who's gonna be the next Bond.
I hear Josh is in line.
I am. No, from my understanding, they're trying to make it a female.
Of course they are.
The rumor that I heard for the longest time was Idris Elba, and I wouldn't be upset at that. Like,
I wouldn't be either. I think he'd do a great James Bond. But my theory is everybody's like pushing for, like, ever since the Me Too movement is they want female characters, and it's like James Bond is iconically a male character. I don't care if
feel
he's
like
black, white, or Chinese. But
the characters, when it comes to the character stuff, I feel like any character can be any gender, any race. Like,
Yep.
the people who got mad about Ariel being black in the new movie coming up, I was like, are you that attached to the fucking cartoon? Like, come on, you guys.
My problem is if we're going to look at, like, in the retrospective, they try to make all these main things female. Like, look at the Ghostbusters or
Have you seen that
Ocean's
all female
11.
Ghostbusters?
It's got some good stuff in it.
it has
was
some good stuff, but
awful.
it's not that good. Like, my problem is I understand they want to do that stuff, and that's not the problem. The problem is they don't have the content. The content is not there.
The issue is, you know why people point at that like, this is bad, we shouldn't do that anymore. It's because we don't have a lot of examples of that happening. Like, it's because we haven't had the all women ensemble. So like the girls trips, the bridesmaids, like, we only get a few of those. So if there's a bad one, it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb because the dumb shits in Hollywood haven't taken the time to try and do that shit. So like I said, if there's a bad one, it's going to stick out.
I mean, I feel like a lot of it's just forced. I think it's just forced.
I feel like it's very forced.
They
Rather
don't,
than
they
getting
don't,
content,
they don't
they
sit
just wanna push it.
down. Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
sit down and like be creative about it. It's just forced.
Well, and what you have to do is you have to stop, like, okay, like, I think Ocean's 8 was great, but you have to stop taking old IP and saying, okay, we're taking Fast and Furious, but now it's all females. You have to stop taking old IP. You have to take a chance on new IP, and that's not where the business is at right now. No one's taking any risk. So like, I'd say the biggest risk would have recently, like, in anything, probably would have been like Glow. And even then, like, that's a small risk for Netflix. It's like, okay, we're ordering this to series, 10 episodes. We can renew it. We don't have to renew it. They ended up going 3 seasons. They canceled it during COVID. Like, it's basically just taking the risk, trying out new IP, and stop being so goddamn scared of, like, failing. Because that's where a lot of the business is right now. And that's why you're not seeing a whole lot of, like, that's why things feel like there's a lot less shit out there.
It's remakes or rehashed or this
it's all Marvel
series
stuff right now, you guys.
this series hasn't been there hasn't been a season out for 10 years, but hey, let's add this in.
Well, and my closest thing now to what Nick just said then is, what about that? I can't remember the name of the movie. It's that one with all the different spies from different agencies, and they're all girls working together randomly all of a sudden.
Wasn't that Black Widow?
No, I know what you're talking about. It just came out recently. It was some number, the 314 or something.
315 or something like that?
Yeah, something like
315?
that. Where I'm pretty sure it's an original idea. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know it, but I've never heard of it either. And it doesn't, in my opinion, based on how they're showing it in the trailers, it doesn't look that good.
The other issue is access at this point. So when it comes to movies, you have a lot of old heads from Hollywood saying we need the theater experience. But what they're not realizing is that people don't show up for like random shit unless it's like Batman or Spider-Man No Way Home. So I think you're seeing like I think you're seeing like a coming to terms with, okay, like people are only going for events. So like we need to really focus on events like Batman, like Spider-Man, like Dune 2, like events to get people to come to the theaters, and then everything else possibly heading to a streamer or possibly splitting between the two. I could go like if we ever do an episode that isn't related to games, I could go into detail about some of the stuff I've been reading.
It's called the 355, and it did awful.
See, we couldn't even get the number right. So I see your point though. It's because there's so much noise, there's so much shit, and I was aware of it. I wasn't aware it was like an all like women's agent type thing. I had no idea.
Like all four main characters are all females, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like it almost felt like a Charlie's Angels because they have that one lead male, which happened to be Sebastian Stan, which I actually like his work. But
speaking of that, they just redid Charlie's Angels for those who didn't know. I don't think it was well received.
Again?
Oh god, okay, we're not doing smashing cinema time. We're doing smashing game time.
Welcome to episode
smashing my head against the wall after all this.
All right, so same day as Crysis came out, and this was like a PC melt. This was like a motherboard melter, wasn't it, Josh?
Yes, even now, if you play the original, it's not stable. It's it's one of those games that definitely it can fuck your shit up if you don't have it working right.
That's gonna be the name of this episode. It's not stable.
It's not stable. It's obviously with newer stuff, it's gotten better. You can do a lot more. Like if it actually looked anything like that trailer did, where it was like that fast pace, I'm sure you would be destroying your computer. Like even they remastered it. Even the remaster has a lot of issues.
I never got into them. I wasn't into I was like, oh, this is just like futuristic Far Cry.
This is a more linear Far Cry in my opinion. It's just a lot of fun. I enjoyed them. I've played all three. The only thing that 3 does better than the other two is the fact that you get the bow and arrow. That tops it all. That's just because I love bow and arrows in first person shooters.
I just remember that ad with that song. What's that song called?
I don't know. I'm assuming the third
one. You
one.
try to remember, Jake. We're moving on.
Yeah, I'll try to remember.
November 16th, the first Assassin's Creed came out. I 100%ed this game. I got all the feathers, all the flags, for some reason.
No, well, it was definitely one of the cooler games to do all the. Yeah, she's standing there. I just saw that.
Star.
I'm like, why?
Guest star.
Very creepy.
Appearance.
Very creepy.
Yell penis.
Anyway, yeah, it was honestly. I know there's a lot of bugs that came out with it when it first came out, but this was actually a lot of fun. I remember playing it, thinking this is really cool, and then of course, the sequels. Like honestly, nothing will ever beat 2 and Brotherhood. Those two were like my top Assassin's Creed games of all time.
In retrospect, this was great coming off of Prince of Persia, because the Prince of Persia games were great. I know people are lukewarm about Warrior Within and the Two Thrones, but like this felt great gameplay wise. Otherwise, like it was very repetitive. Like the open world didn't have a lot to offer. It was fun climbing. Don't get me wrong. I loved the climbing aspect of it. Everything else, meh.
No, I mean honestly, the exploration was great, and then from there they just improved it. Combat got better in 2, and then exploration got better in Brotherhood, and they've gotten so much better. And even then, now, they do things better than most games do. Has it gotten? Is it like the better of this stuff? No, not really. But I still think every year they've gotten things better. They've done things better.
And I felt so much for Ezio in the second one.
It's the start of a big series that's still out this day.
Yeah. And they took a little bit of they took a little break, came back better than ever, and I think people are starting to get tired of it again. But I mean,
I think if they space it out right, because everybody's doing the Call of Duty, let's release a new game every year. That gets really boring. Hell, even so, I've been doing reviews for WWE 2K22. They took a year off, and I'm not gonna lie, I can see a difference. I watched videos of the old stuff and like old reviews just to get an idea. They've done so much better. It looks better. It's better polished, more content.
It's still rough, Josh. It's still rough.
I agree. I agree that it's not perfect, but companies need to realize we don't need a new game every year.
So what what that model does is it gets you don't get excited for, like, let's just use like Assassin's Creed as example. You don't get excited for it every year. You find the one development team that's doing the good one. So like for Call of Duty, that was for the longest time, that was Infinity Ward, and then Infinity Ward went to shit, and everyone's like, okay, Treyarch, we're excited for the Treyarch games. So like even though they do it every year, like I feel like the masses are like, okay, this is the Treyarch, let's do that. Oh, hey, this is the who was the bad Ubisoft for the longest time? Was it Ubisoft Shanghai that was doing like the so stuff?
I think so, yeah.
Like they did Pandora Tomorrow, and everyone's like, and then the other team, I forget what that one was called, did Chaos Theory, and they're like, this is the team. This is the team right here. And you see it because then what was it, Splinter Cell we talked, Double Agent comes out, and I think Double Agent was split between the two. Shanghai did the 360 release, the other team did like the Xbox PS2, and that version was the better liked version. So it's you just see the cycle of like, oh hey, we only like when it's this development team.
Well, I saw that an article recently that Call of Duty is actually going to release the game this year.
Yeah.
No, I think there's one this year because it had already been in development, and they're taking
it's next year.
23.
It's next year
They're taking 23 off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, because like this one's so I think the cycle for them, they have 3 teams on the cycle. So then Treyarch, Sledgehammer, and I think it's still Infinity Ward is the other one.
Yeah.
And so, who was last year?
Was it Treyarch last year?
I think it was
No.
Sledgehammer. I see. I'm off cycle. I don't know.
I think it was Treyarch last year, and then with the Vanguard that just came out, I think that was Infinity Ward.
So those games are on like a 2.5. Like, so Vanguard started development probably 2019, probably even earlier because COVID, or probably I don't know. But yeah, those games are like on such a long cycle that they're already being worked on like behind the scenes when we're getting ready for what was the one before that, Cold War.
Yeah.
All right, let us go. Oh, we're almost done. I didn't realize we were almost done. So then after that, Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga came out. Lego Star Wars are fun. Great way to watch the film. Great way to get through the whole prequel and sequel without actually watching the movies. November 19th, Mario Party DS. 2 Mario Parties in 1 year. That means the end of times is approaching.
Yep.
And then Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Naughty Dog getting away from their cute little mascots. This is the game that basically gave us the next 15 years of Naughty Dog. If I can get this video working.
And it was actually a great start for it too.
I just remember this game being very green. Like just green everywhere.
It was very obviously they fixed it with 2. 2 was a little more darker, still had some green, and then 3 of course is all desert.
I love when people talk about this game because they're like, oh, it's Tomb Raider. But then people like Tomb Raider was basically Indiana Jones. Like people always get into that conversation. Like both of these games are basically Indiana Jones. Let's calm down, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. Tomb Raider is unrealistic. Indiana Jones. Uncharted is still unrealistic. Okay,
they're both they're both very Hollywood. The motherfucker,
like Tom Holland, damn it.
In Tomb Raider, you fight an angel for Christ's sake.
Yeah, you fight an angel, but this motherfucker's dangling off a train at the start of the second one.
You're not wrong.
They're both very Hollywood. That's the point of these, like, oh, we're going to find the lost ark. It's lost, but now we can just call it the ark because we found it. That's the point of these. Like, it's supposed to be like realism, but like with elements of magic underneath. Because there's some elements of magic in this too, I believe. I've never played any of these all the way through.
I don't think it's this one. I think it's the second one there is.
This
one was more like just we're trying to find the treasure. Oh, here's a treasure map. Hey, cool. We're going places.
Hey, we found the treasure
Nicolas
map.
Cage is my national treasure.
Anyway, moving forward.
Unreal Tournament 3 also came out on the 19th. Those were fun. I enjoy the Unreal Tournaments. And then on the 20th, so we got Rock Band, we got Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings. Josh shuddered at that. And then Mass Effect. This is my favorite game on the Citadel.
I played for the sex scenes.
I am Nick, and I endorse this message, or I approve this message.
So you played 6 hours, or you probably played 3. You probably ran through it. You played 3 hours of the game, Jake, just to watch 2 like scenes that don't really give you anything.
The only game I can have sex with aliens? Yeah, why not?
It's crazy how fast this series fell out of grace.
It's all because of 3 too.
You can point it all back at EA. Oh, well, and 3. 3.
Yeah.
I think 3 was
the melting point. Like literally, you played 3, you loved it, and then you get to the very end, you're just like, I did all this for nothing.
You can't tell people like, oh, your choices are gonna matter, and then at 3, like, oh, pick the color you want to end, green, blue, or red.
And I know they fixed it and tried to to make it
Yeah,
better, but it
DLC.
was
Yeah.
too late.
Because I remember thinking in the first one, there's a choice to save like an alien race that's like near extinction. They're like the four-legged things that you don't really see many of, and I remember saving them, thinking, "Oh man, when they finally end this series, like that species I saved is gonna come back and kill whatever the big bad guy is." Nope,
No, I don't even think they're even brought up.
not at all. Nope.
I mean, 2 was still the best one.
Oh, 2 was amazing, and 2 was just basically, hey, align your crew and go do the jab. You got to do the jab. You ready?
Your
And the job is, and
matter.
honestly, that one it did matter. Like honestly, 2 major choices feel so much more important, especially when you did the last mission. Oh my god!
I just cared so much more about the crew as opposed to this one. Like, there's spoilers if you haven't played this. There's a choice between saving Ashley the racist or Caden the puppet,
Yes.
and you're just like, do I have to save either of them? Can I let
and
them
I
both
love
die?
and I love how canonically it's Ashley.
Don't even get me started.
That's the best part. Is if you don't. For those who don't know, every game you move forward with it, it still keeps your choices. So when you whatever you did in 1, so for example, if you save Ashley, in 2, Ashley's still alive, and in 3, Ashley's still alive. Well, canonically, they picked the racist just to live.
They picked the space racist. They're like,
Yeah.
what would the masses want? They want the space racist.
We don't want the puppet,
But
we
then
want
they
the
don't-
guy who's willing to sacrifice himself.
They don't ever give her any
And
like
boobs.
redeeming They don't ever give her like anything redeeming. Like there's no redemption. There's no her like, oh, I'm the one who's wrong.
No, the closest thing you get to it is her becoming a specter, and even then, it doesn't really solve anything. It's just
forgot
more
she
like
becomes
a working. Yeah, she becomes a specter. Yeah,
You gave the racist the specterism. God
exactly.
damn it.
That's what just is. That's hilarious.
The doctors have done us all wrong again.
The only great thing that 3 brought us was the indoctrination theory. That's the only thing I can give it.
Moving on from my disappointment, Lost Odyssey came out December 6th, our last game of the day. I remember seeing like the opening of this game multiple times. Where like
Oh,
you're
yeah. It
battling
was
like the
definitely-
robots and shit. This
Yeah.
was when Microsoft was like, we need a JRPG, damn it. People love it.
Yep. And they talked to the guy who created Final Fantasy, and he's like, "I have an idea," and then this is the idea.
I like the look of it. I've always liked the character design in this.
The story is very weird. I don't know if you guys have ever played it all the way
Never
through or
really
read it.
played it, Yeah.
The story is a little weird. It basically think of the Eternals,
I'm thinking.
The movie?
I'm thinking.
the movie, the Eternals. Just think
Never
kind of
seen
like that, kind of to an extent,
Okay.
and then think Final Fantasy.
So they stood by this whole time, watched people die, and now Angelina Jolie and the gang is coming to help.
I said kind of. I didn't say exactly.
Oh, that Xbox 360 pop-up made me nostalgic.
Oh, nostalgic.
And that was
So-
that is the games. Anything else on Lost Odyssey there, Josh? We started with Lost Planet. We ended with Lost Odyssey.
No, nope. We're good there. We've got some news to go through, and then we got a quiz.
All right, let's move into the news then.
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning Star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news. March 14th, Microsoft announces Game for Windows, which, take it or leave it, if you will. Service launched on May 8th. Moving into the 27th of March, they announced Xbox 360 Elite. The revision comes with a bigger hard drive and the ability to output HDMI. I think I had one of. I had either the.
You
second-
did have one of them.
Yeah, that thing was nice.
I
They
want a
announced it-
dual
and then it came
antenna
out-
Wi-Fi.
Sony announces that they are discontinuing the 20 gigabyte PlayStation 3 SKU, one of the 2 SKUs available. This also got rid of their backwards compatibility, I think, when they got rid of that
Yep.
SKU. Those sons
Because
of
that's the only one that had it.
and it's been a pain in the ass with them ever since.
Yeah.
Just getting anything from their their bigger back catalog than Microsoft. They had an additional. They had one system, and they have the.
Oh, here he goes.
He's
Here
moved
the,
he
the
goes.
PS2 is considered one of the greatest consoles ever, and you have that.
June 27th.
You have
Nintendo
that.
Lane, bring the pill.
June 27th, Nintendo announces WiiWare, a service similar to Xbox Live Arcade that allows developers to release original, downloadable games for the Wii. Previously, the only downloadable games available on the Wii had been limited to its virtual console service.
And let me get started on fucking Nintendo.
Oh, God.
They have
Oh, the
15
pill.
plus years
We need
on
the pill,
both of
Lane.
them. On
We
both
need
of
the
them.
pill.
Jake, read July.
Read July. Okay.
Read July.
On July 5th, after an outpouring of complaints over faulty Xbox 360 hardware, Microsoft announces an extension for Xbox 360 warranty that applies retroactively to all consumers who have purchased the console since launch. I remember we had a faulty Xbox
Oh, we had
360.
two.
And we towel tricked those sons of bitches.
we sent it off and it came back and gave us like what 3 months, a 3
And
month
then we
card.
had it again. Yep.
That was the longest wait for that thing to come back too.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, it felt like it was gone for a year.
I think I was playing RuneScape while I was waiting.
I don't know what I was doing. I was probably like playing football or something.
No, Nick, you had your Zune at the time.
Oh, I had my Zune. Oh, I
Yeah,
love that
your
thing.
Zune.
Don't even get me started on my Zune. August 29th, Nokia reveals plans to revive its failing N-Gage brand in November. However, this time the line would not be a console, but rather a service players can download onto Nokia phones and PCs. I saw that second version of the N-Gage they did look better, but still, you had so much bad faith from that first one. Everyone's like, no, not happening. Sorry.
Before apps came out.
Yeah. So
Ah,
September
what's that?
26th, Activision buys Bizarre Creations, developer of the Project Gotham racing series.
And they did absolutely nothing with them, if I remember correctly.
I think they did one or two
PGR.
games. That was it.
Yeah.
I'd have to
Probably.
I'd have to look it up, but nothing. It was nothing. They had that great back.
Ooh, October 5th, Bungie announces its split with Microsoft to become an independent studio.
Oh
You can
man,
see where they're at
that was 2007. I forgot. Oh my god, it's been
God, it was
15
so
years.
Yeah.
long ago. Yeah.
Jesus,
That was a big deal too. Everyone's like, "What? What about Halo?"
And I love that Microsoft like swooped in and was like, we're keeping Halo, because they kind of did the same thing with Epic. They're like, oh, you guys are about to do some big shit over here. Gears is ours. We're taking it, and we're taking Rod Ferguson too. He's ours. Send him to Black
Yep.
Tusk Studios, which we're now calling the Coalition. October 11th, Electronic Arts announces plans to buy VG Holding Corp., which owns both Pandemic Studios and BioWare. Pandemic, RIP, BioWare. Getting ready to die.
R.I.P.
Effectively making both companies subsidiaries. Yeah, EA doesn't have a good track record with keeping people alive.
Nope.
Speaking of which, November 6th, EA closes down its EA Chicago studios.
God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. That was the no. I don't know what EA Chicago did, but
They were probably just like a smaller portion of them. They probably did like side projects. It's probably
Years.
more-
years of back catalog wasted.
They took good jobs.
All right, Josh.
All right.
Build up this quiz for us.
I did. So essentially, it's Halo 3. Everything you can think about. It's a short quiz. It's only 10 questions. Whoever knows Halo 3 better is clearly the better player. It's that simple.
Okay.
I'm a gamer.
Jake is
So-
a gamer.
I'll let Nick go ahead and bring it up
All right.
because I only have the questions. I don't have the quiz, the answers. But Nick, go ahead and scroll down. We'll do the first question. And no cheating, of course. And you guys got 10 seconds to answer. Who is that character?
343 Guilty Spark.
3, 4,
got
3.
that
Good.
right.
So wait, this is we need to be able to buzz in.
Oh, fuck you.
Okay. So we'll give you both the credit for that answer, but you have
No,
to say
wait,
buzz
no.
first. Yeah,
Nick
yeah.
had no idea.
I knew because the 343 got their name from him. You dingus.
Okay, so both are going to get the credit for that one.
No, that's stupid.
Well, I'm gonna add another question at the end. So, question number 2: how did you unlock the Hayabusa armor?
Legendary.
Now, Nick had his hands raised. So, Nick, what's your
There's
answer?
no hand raise.
Completing
There's no
the
rules
game on-
established.
Completing the game on Legendary.
You piece of shit.
That is incorrect. Jake, I'll let you give it a try, and you have to buzz, guys. Buzz. They
you
say
had to-
buzz.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna buzz one of my B movie. Okay.
That's Jerry Seinfeld.
The buzz is
you had
better
to,
for the
you
audio.
had to unlock all the achievements.
Incorrect.
What was it?
You
Josh?
had to collect the skulls. 3 skulls got you the shoulder. 6 skulls got you the chest, and then all of them got you the head. Okay. Question number 3. What is IWHBYD and what does it stand for?
Buzz.
Nick.
What would Master Chief do?
There's no F in there.
I don't know. I just wanted to say that.
In wide hide bitches. I got nothing.
Okay, do either one of you want to take a guess of what it is then?
We have no idea,
No.
Josh, or else we would have
Okay.
taken a guess.
Okay, so it is a skull, and it stands for "I would have been your daddy."
Now that makes sense why you were saying that earlier.
Oh
Damn
God,
it.
I thought you guys would do better on this so far, and you're kind of letting me down. Number 4. How far apart are the campaigns of Halo 2 and 3?
Buzz.
So when before, okay, so where Halo 2 ends and where Halo 3 begins, how far apart are they?
Buzz.
Nick.
They basically simultaneously, like the end of 2 is the start of 3.
They're actually weeks apart.
Motherfucker.
I think
I
I'm
do.
winning.
Well, technically you're tied right now.
We're still tied, Jake.
What was the first map pack called?
Whoa. It wasn't Explorer because that's Discovery Channel did a map pack with Gears. Was it the front Buzz? Was it the Frontier
Yeah.
map pack?
No, that's Titanfall.
That is incorrect, Nick. Jake?
It was nope. I got nothing.
It was the heroic map pack.
Son of a bitch.
Bonus question, since the
We
first
suck.
question got ruined, what is the second map pack?
Legendary. Buzz, legendary.
Jake, that is correct. So Jake is now in
Damn.
the lead. All right. Number 6. Which weapon can no longer be dual wield?
Buzz.
Buzz.
I heard Nick go first.
The Needler.
Stupid.
That is correct.
We are
That's
tied.
All right. What is the first line of the campaign?
Buzz.
Nick.
This is the way the world ends?
Nope.
No.
Jake?
He's with us.
No. And for just credit in general,
No credits.
can
It has
anybody?
to-
No. It's because I'm gonna give you the line because I didn't know it either. I had to look it up. Can anybody tell me which character has the first line?
It's either Cortana or Johnson.
It's Major Johnson.
It's actually Cortana. It is. They let me pick. Did I ever tell you that? Choose whichever Spartan I wanted. You know me. I did my research. Watched as you became the soldier we needed you to be. But you had something they didn't. Something no one saw but me. Can you guess?
His
Luck.
face.
Luck. Shut up, Cortana.
Number
Yeah,
8.
didn't they like slow down like during the first mission? Like it kind of slows down, like in small parts.
Yeah, in certain parts it slowed down. You would have Cortana in the background. Kind of
Yeah.
talking. Yeah. Question number 8. Name that vehicle.
Buzz.
Buzz.
Yeah.
That's the Pelican.
That's incorrect, Jake.
Hornet.
That is correct. Jake is back in the lead. Now, question number 9. What is the name of the ship Master Chief and the Orbiter escape on?
Buzz.
Nick.
It's the Pillar of Autumn.
That is incorrect. Jake.
The ship they escape on.
Escaping in the last mission.
Big Jim.
That is incorrect. It is Forward Unto Dawn.
Ah, that was going to be my second
Pillar
guess.
of Autumn is the first one, Nick.
Yep.
Isn't that like a series too?
Forward Unto Dawn is, yeah.
Yeah.
Last question, and both you can get credit on this. Name a map.
Buzz.
Well, you don't have to buzz. You can
Oh.
both.
Well, a
name
Halo
it.
3 map or
Val-
any map?
A Halo 3 map.
There's a Valhalla one. Blood Gulch technically is in there.
Okay, Nick, you've already gotten yours. Jake.
I was
Don't-
gonna say Valhalla, but I can't think of another one. What's that big field one? Damn it!
Are we tied?
Yeah, right now you guys are tied. So if Jake doesn't
Son of
get
a
this,
bitch. I can't name one. I can't think of any. I don't play Halo.
I mean, Jake, come on. There's even maps that they ported over from the old games. Come on.
I mean, I was gonna say like Blackout, but
That is incorrect. Oh no, Jake got it. Jake got it. It was a legendary map. Was Blackout.
Suck ass, Nick.
So Jake won.
Jake, pick Josh's game.
All right, Josh, you are going to. Let's see. Let's make this So it's only 2007, right?
Yep.
Only 2007.
What are
Let's
you feeling? What are you
do-
feeling? Feeling something tough?
No, actually, I'll do a favorite one of mine. Let's do Final Fantasy Tactics: Lord of the Lines.
Okay.
Gross.
You never even played it, have you?
It's not going to
Nicholas.
stop him from getting on Wikipedia the day before. So, Jake, you have to make that quiz.
Okay, I can do it.
All right, everybody. So that was 2007, a banger of a year. What some consider the 1999 of video games.
All right, everyone. One game to keep.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm keeping. This is tough. You know what? I'm gonna keep Heavenly Sword.
Jake.
One game to keep. I'm gonna go with. I'll go with the orange box.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go with Mass Effect. It's a solid game. And then, of course, everyone's favorite: get rid of a game.
I'm gonna get rid of the B movie game because it's
What
the B
is
movie
You
game.
bitch. You sick son of a bitch. Jake.
We're gonna get rid of NCAA March Madness of 7.
Good call.
Okay. I'm gonna get rid of Metroid Prime 3. Corruption.
Yeah.
I just want to redo. That's the redo button right there. Give us the redone.
They'd still be
No, it's
struggling on how
get
to
rid
make
of.
it.
Sorry,
right.
doesn't exist.
All right, everybody. That is Smashing Game Time. As always, I'm Nick. You can find me on Twitch at NickFatKnight. You can also find me on Twitter at ThatKaufman. Jake, Josh, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Josh_saying and on Twitch as at I'm Josh saying.
You can find me on Twitch, Jakey Boy Kaufman, or I'm always just bantering on Twitter at also Jakey Boy Kaufman.
Yeah, and schedule-wise, I think I'm streaming Tuesday and Thursday night this week. Gonna play some either Frostpunk or Tunic. I haven't decided yet. Anyone streaming this week?
Yeah, I'll be streaming some Final Fantasy VII First Soldier. I'm gonna try to hit rank 1 sometime this week.
Nice.
And I currently have nothing available right now, but we'll see. We'll make a post.
We shall see. So everybody, that is the show. Next week we're doing Josh's speed cap for Final Fantasy Tactic Origins.
No,
Final
Tactics
Fantasy
War of the Lion.
Tactics War of the Lions.
War of the Lions.
You
Okay.
specimen.
I'm getting my name. There's so many Final Fantasies, it's hard to keep up with the names. So we'll be back with that next week. As always, everybody, like and review us on Apple Podcasts. Please, we'd really appreciate it. We'll read your kind or not so kind words on the show. As always, thanks to Alex Marvin Clark for his song, Hunt Him Down. Almost forgot the title there. That is our opening and outro theme that we use every week. There's a link to him and his stuff down in the show notes. Check him out. Everyone, thanks for hanging out with us. We will be back next week. And as always, it's been a smashing game time. Toodles.
Smash your
Yeah.
screen right now.